Y'all ready for our webinar?
Everybody, welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark. This is Kirk Henderson and Josh Bowe. I apologize for starting the show that way. We have a temporary new start to our show just because there are some concerns that maybe the music we were using might not be rights free. Whatever, we'll have it changed out within the next couple of shows, but that's just the way our shows are gonna start for now. I'm Kirk Henderson, joined as always by Josh Bowe. We're coming to you following the 8th seed play-in game between the Dallas Mavericks and the Memphis Grizzlies, which was an absolute total waste of your fucking time. Fuck the Dallas Mavericks. Fuck all this. Let's just go to bed. Show over. Good night.
And yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, good night.
I don't know, man. What do we even do?
No, I mean,
how do we talk about this game?
I don't even know. We probably, Memphis scored. I mean, I was a little more confident that they were going to win this game. Yes, partly because I know that I feel like we're living a cursed existence, but also because the Mavericks have had some advantages. The only way Memphis was going to win this game was if they made it an up-tempo game. And of course, the Mavericks turned the ball over 16 times. They did it 6 times in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter. Memphis had 19 fast break points, but I swear to God, 15 of those were in the first 12 and a half minutes of this game. And they thumped them in the first quarter, and then that was it. Because you look at quarters 2 through 4, and it was basically almost even. So the 15-point first quarter, they kind of cruised from there. The Mavericks were not prepared to start the game. And by the time they kind of got their ducks in a row, they were down 15, 17 points. And they just literally, this isn't a team that can make comebacks because they can't shoot threes. If you're going to make a team about defense and size, you have to play ahead. And they literally never had the lead in this game. So.
Well, another part about a team that is built on size and defense is that they have to be big and play defense.
Defense, yeah. Yes.
I mean,
Memphis,
there were...
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know how to talk about this performance because I am simply not remotely interested in any narratives coming out of this. ESPN was doing their best to make the game interesting, and
because they don't want people to change the channel. It's a Friday night.
That's right. So Dave Pesh and Tim Legler were talking about how, well, Kyrie could be back by January. This team has something, blah, blah. And I have a third-party connection to Tim Legler, and I'm going to send a pretty nasty note to my friend. And I'm just going to be like, what are we doing? Like if Kyrie comes back in January, I think we'll all be really, really happy. But that is an asinine reason.
I think
it's
considering
so
how
disrespectful to just logic.
I think considering how hard Legler went in on the Mavs after the trade, that is a top-down mandate probably.
Oh yeah, because Nico Harrison, and we know this. Look, I don't care. I'll unload both barrels at this point. I have it on pretty fucking good authority that Nico Harrison has bitched to ESPN relentlessly about their coverage of him. And so there's an element of this because making fun of the Luka Doncic trade, we as podcasters kind of know this. We don't want to talk about it, but it keeps coming up. Today is, if you do the math, today's the 77th day since February 1st when he was traded. 77, Luka Doncic's number. Not to be Robert Downey, I feel like Spider-Man in No Way Home, where it's just I see him everywhere. And it's because I do. And I'm tired of I was turning into this game and look, the Kings game was a welcome surprise. I'm not going to sit here and lie. When I watch the actual basketball games, I am so psyched up about watching the actual basketball games. But then they come out tonight and they look completely surprised that Ja Morant is going to attack the rim.
Jason Kidd had a pregame quote where Tim McMahon had a report where he's like, Mavericks coaching staff said Ja Morant is high on their defensive game plan priority.
Was the plan to escort him to the rim?
Yeah, it was not great.
I mean, granted, I need to put some respect to Ja Morant's name. He's a when he's player. On, he was on.
I mean, that putback dunk, that's something only he's a one-of-one kind of athlete, and that especially for a guard.
Well, and it was really incredible on the putback dunk, watching the guy who's guarding him who is and Najee Marshall.
Yeah.
Just like watch him.
Yeah.
Like it was one of the most pathetic defensive performances from a team that's supposed to be steeped in defense that I could have ever imagined. And it starts with the starting lineup. And they once again went with Najee Marshall at point guard. They didn't bother playing Brandon Williams until like the 3-minute mark when it was already a 15-point game.
Yep. And then he had a pretty bad, not bad, but he was erratic when he was in those first half minutes. And then they dusted off Spencer Dinwiddie. And in 4 minutes, he missed 2 shots, -3, was not good. And then they went back to Brandon Williams, who was actually kind of good. Like, kid panicking over Williams playing like 3 minutes that wasn't like perfect basketball, and then going to Dinwiddie was not great. But also, doesn't matter. Brandon Williams could have played 35 minutes. They weren't going to win this game. So, like, that's another thing. We probably should talk about Anthony Davis because he had 40
I don't know
points.
how to. I don't know
It's very weird because, like, clearly he's hurt. He needs surgery.
Yep.
He's probably going to get it because they've got, now that there's no playoffs, he's got extra time to react.
I mean, he had 40 points.
Yeah. I mean, you say what you will. He had 40 points. Like, that's, and it wasn't chucking. Like, 40 points on 29 shots. That's pretty good efficiency. 16 of 29 from the floor.
But team worst, -18.
No, yeah. Like, he didn't start turning it on till the Mavericks were down 25.
20 points.
He was like 3 out of his first 7, and the Mavericks are down 20 plus. His defense is awful. And then the Mavericks get down 20 plus, and he got to work. It's great that he got to work. But you know, it's one of those things where I don't know how to react because obviously he's hurt, so I don't want to crush a guy for playing hurt because he really could have just not played. And a lot of people probably have told him to not play. Well, and he's playing anyway, which is great. But also, if you can't help the team win, maybe don't play. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's honestly my problem with him playing. Not because I institutionally for the Dallas Mavericks, them missing the playoffs and getting a higher draft pick is better for the organization. Just is.
Yeah.
And they forced Luka out, and Luka used to get killed for 2 games of sitting. Okay. Everybody's praising Anthony Davis for playing and hurting the Mavericks lottery chances. While, I mean, I don't know how to judge Anthony Davis, quite candidly, because like the defense that he played for Dallas was some of the worst I could have envisioned. It was Dwight Powell-esque. He was not good most games, with the 2 exceptions of when they played 2 of the worst Eastern Conference teams, the Raptors and the Hawks. And you wrote something in the recap, I need to go pull it up, that really sticks with me, where it's just like Anthony Davis getting hurt in a 40-point game where the Mavericks were down double digits just sort of encapsulates the Anthony Davis experience. And like, I'm trying to be patient, but he represents all that is failed with this trade. And I'm not interested in being a fan of his. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Well, that's not his fault.
It's not his fault. And so I don't want to take it out on him personally, but it's like watching that, and then, you know, the chat is killing 2 other players who we are going to get to.
Yeah,
don't you worry.
Yeah,
compared,
you guys got some takes ready to fire on.
You guys are correct about those players, by the way. Anthony Davis is supposed to be the centerpiece.
He's the best player, right? Yeah, he's who they're building around for the next 3 years.
And I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of nasty YouTube comments tomorrow about how we're wrong, and if he didn't play, we'd be down 50. Well, guys, guess what? We still lost by 16. So look, 15, 60, 200. I don't fucking care. The Dallas Mavericks lost.
Yep, season's over. Let's just get to those guys, because I considered me and you really big Derek Lively guys.
Oh yeah,
I feel like it's over. Like, are you done? I was kind of surprised seeing some of your
so Mark Stein is we're gonna know more tomorrow, and like Mark Stein has Mark Stein is kind of openly questioning Dallas Mavericks medical staff decision making on his Twitter feed right now and on DLOS, and it sounds like they knew more. And, you know, this just all looks really terrible in relation to the Casey Smith quiet firing. He's now with the New York Knicks, and, you know, he was widely regarded as one of the best trainers in basketball. And Nico Harrison forced him into quiet quitting. quiet fired him. Like Nico Harrison is
But his
ultimately
contract expired, but
but
people need to remember,
they told him
they-
he wasn't going to be sitting on the bench. We talked about this.
yeah, can't go to games.
He can't go to games, and so they basically sent him home and told him he could pay out his contract.
Right.
In February, they missed the fact that the new training staff missed the fact that he had a broken ankle.
Yeah, because what?
I don't know what to do with that. I've had a lot of weird medical issues in my life, but missing a broken ankle and then Nico Harrison trying to act like it was fine because they caught it later. It's like,
no, actually, yeah, that was a good thing because they found it, Kirk.
They found it as opposed to him getting
job.
gangrene and his whole fucking leg falling off. Like, are those the two options that we have here? Like, there's just some real clown show stuff. And like, what really pains me is I still remember Dante Exum breaking his hand, which that was a freak accident. Let's just be clear here. Dante Exum breaking his hand was a freak accident.
That has nothing to do with the training staff. Yeah,
minutes after the Dallas the broadcast team did an extended segment on the training staff. Like it was like
it's been that season. It's been that season, right?
So but my lively take is this. Since coming back from the trade, he has been nothing short of awful. That's not a take, that's a fact.
No,
like he had 10 points.
Hasn't looked like himself. No, hasn't looked good.
And so someone told me, it's like, oh, he's a Luka merchant on offense, blah, 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 blah. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think we haven't seen anything that Derek Lively can do in this season. He didn't do anything. They didn't let him do anything. I think on defense last year, his evolution in the final 25 games, and including playoff stuff, is a key component of why the Mavericks got to the finals.
Yeah.
And his defense in these last several games was Dwight Powell-esque. He was awful.
Yeah.
He was fried chicken.
Yeah. Really bad on switches, which he was kind of bad on that last year too.
But he learned. He seemed to like improve.
Yeah, he had a good block tonight. He had 2 steals, but yeah, just the impact defensively is just not the same. And you just wonder, just the injury, because he actually was playing better before he got hurt. If you remember that lineup, the Mavericks real starting lineup before Luka got traded, Luka, Clay, oh my gosh, Luka, Kyrie, Clay, PJ Lively was incredible. Now they only played 50 minutes or however many possessions they played, but they were incredible, and Lively was kind of looking good in that regard. And I wonder if it's just the injury just effed him up, and he never got back to it, because you kind of need quick feet to play good defense, and if you suffer a broken bone in your ankle or a stress fracture or whatever it was, I'm sure that really messes up your lateral mobility, which you could see on full display on those switches. And then, just offensively kind of makes sense. I'm willing to write off, no Luka, Kyrie gets hurt. They didn't really have any point guards. Like, he's, as much as I love Lively, like, guys, he's not going to self-create his own offense. He's always going to be reliant on his offense getting created for him. At best, you can hope he turns into like a dribble handoff hub. But yeah, the defense, everything after that it's disappointing. It feels like a lost season for him. You know what I mean?
That's the fair. And I hope whoever ends up writing the season review for him when Mavs Moneyball talks about that. Like, I tweeted, like, how much could the Mavericks get for him? It's just because we have to start asking these questions, because a center who doesn't score on his own right now
and can't shoot threes.
It won't shoot threes. I think he can.
Yeah.
Hasn't shot threes, and is also, you need to if his defense is not great, and I don't believe that. I believe his defense can come back. You just need to ask the question, because without a primary hub for an offense, meaning a Luka Doncic, his value goes down. It just does.
Yeah, it does. He goes from, looking like, I don't know what you want to say, but to like Nick Claxton, which Nick Claxton is a very good player. But in my head, after seeing what Lively did his rookie season, I had grander aspirations than that. You know what I mean? So, Yeah, and then we got to talk about the other guy who didn't score any points in the starting lineup, PJ Washington.
Poor guy.
Which is a shame because I think Mavs fans have really taken to liking, like he's really become a favorite player.
Yep.
Especially, some on Twitter, people call him a shame haver, and he seems to always, even if the Mavericks lose, he seems to mostly show up. He did not show up, missed all his shots, didn't score, had 5 fouls, was not engaged in the game really at all. Like he never, from opening tip, he was not in it, and really that's a shame. Like because Lively and PJ not only are two of your long-term starters, but they're also two of your younger players. Like you need these guys. Like they're going to need these guys unless they trade them for Kevin Durant in about 3 months. But yeah, that was rough. He was awful. He never got in the game. And what's especially awful is he should have really had a great game because Memphis, yes, they start two big, Zach Edey, Jaren Jackson Jr. That's a big front court.
Yep.
They play a lot of small guards. Like they start John Morant, Desmond Bane, Scottie Pippen Jr. That's what all those guys are like 6'2", 6'1", 6'3". Like there are opportunities for the Mavericks to get PJ guarded by those guys, get his ass in the post them up, get physical.
Well,
but it's hard to post up PJ when you've got two centers. Like so, there's no spacing for it.
I want to take a quick break and then I want to circle back to this because I saw something in the first quarter that just sort of was emblematic of their problems. Guys, I'm going to do my best to insert some mid-roll ads here. Those of you who have been letting me know that they're not playing, sorry, I'm working on it. It seems to be just kind of an issue with changing feeds. Our parent company Odyssey has been quite fantastic. You guys may know them because I'm pretty sure they own 105.3 The Fan. Is that the name of the station? Yeah.
Yeah, 105.3 The Fan.
Yeah, and the Dallas area. So like we're kind of quasi partners with them. The Fan, so listen to those ads. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. All right, guys, we really appreciate you sticking with us during these trying times. Sorry, it shouldn't be that glib. Like the show, subscribe to the podcast. Josh and I will continue into the off season. At the moment, I'm a little trepidatious about what that means. Josh and I always find a way to talk. We'll be fine. I have some ideas, but it's just...
Yeah, we can do once a week. We'll find out. You've got your basketball shadow broker. We'll
be doing stuff. I mean, really through the play. Like, I'm really only worried after summer league because, realistically, there's enough. Like, we could probably go twice a week on different draft stuff, and I'm going to host live shows. We're going to be doing stuff, guys. Not only are we contractually obligated, we both want to. So we'll keep doing stuff. We're not. One of the things that I like to remind people now and again, just like this is not Josh and I's job. Like we got some really incredibly rude comments last show, which made me laugh. Which is like, well, we have other Dallas Mavericks podcasts to choose from. And it's like, yeah, you do. People who get paid because it's their full-time job. Everybody else that do this that used to be kind of a part-time thing, they don't do it no more. Because it's not worth it. Because Luka's not here, so we don't get those extra views. Josh and I are sticking with it because we care. I want to talk about something I noticed in the first quarter. There was a cool opportunity. It was left wing. Anthony Davis gets a screen set for him by Derek Lively. And for some reason, Klay Thompson runs into the open space and posts it up. Do you remember this?
I don't remember this play. But
it ended up being a really busted thing. But like Klay ran to the right block, the block that was right in front of them, and just clogged all the spacing.
Do you remember how the possession ended? Because I can find it.
It had to have been in like the first 7 minutes of the game, but it was I was like tweeting about it. It doesn't ultimately matter in the sense of we were looking for some big to big action in this game because I still think following this game, Derek Lively, Anthony Davis are better than Jaren Jackson and Zach Edey. That's just my belief. It did not shine through in that game whatsoever. And I blame that on the coaching staff in a lot of regards because the only thing Anthony Davis, like I'm shading him and I'm being kind of an ass, but like he was put in jump shot situations until 20 points down. Like what were they doing? What was the game plan?
Yeah, I don't know what they were trying to do to start the game because literally Memphis sucks in the half court. Like you have to make it like this. It's got to be a half court game, and how loose they were with the ball.
Oh my god!
Like I didn't understand it. And then they get back at the reason why it wasn't a 35-point laugher is because then they slowed it down and they started posting up more and they started kind of control. It wasn't pretty offense, wasn't a lot of pick and rolls and passes, but it was like, hey, let's just walk the ball up, dump it to 80 in the post, and that way we're not going to turn it over and give up a layup. We'll control it. Even if it's a missed shot, at least we can get back on defense because we're not turning the ball over at the 3-point line. I don't know why it took them to the second quarter to kind of calm down into that.
He did some weird stuff.
That should have, who, AD?
Yeah, like he only ended up with 3 turnovers, but there was one loose ball play. And this is, again, first quarter where he's at the 3-point line, but he's kind of extended towards half court from the free throw line. So he's kind of like center right. And he drives left and tries a one-handed, left-handed shovel pass to someone who's 4 feet away, and the ball ends up in like a Benny Hill situation. And I don't even think it counted as an official turnover, but they were so loosey-goosey with the ball. And it very much spoke to the Dallas Mavericks need guards. I don't know. I'm overemphasizing
they could use some guards, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, Memphis doesn't shoot a lot of threes, and that's the thing. Memphis comes into this game as mostly a paint team. They don't shoot a lot of threes. They were bottom half of the league in 3-point frequency, and they shot 31 threes and they made 13 of them. Clearly Memphis was like, okay, it looked like they adapted to the game where the Mavericks kind of didn't. I don't know. It felt like one team read a scouting report and the other team didn't, which is crazy because that was the opposite for the Sacramento game where that might have been the best game Jason Kidd has coached all season.
Right.
So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened between now and then. It was like they got monstered.
You want to see something great?
What?
We're going to start this bad boy over. Let's see if the audio will play here.
I don't hear it. Okay.
Sorry. Can't help myself.
Well, what is it?
Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it. I couldn't. I've got my window a little bit smaller because I'm looking at stats and stuff.
It was Jason Kidd being asked to summarize the Mavericks season, and he called it an incredible season.
Dude. What's going on? Well, I mean, how many seasons do you make a trade that's like the Babe Ruth trade? I mean, that's pretty incredible. It's a very unique, incredible season. Can't deny it.
Just so tired, man. I'm so tired.
I knew that's incredible season. When you look at the injuries, the challenge, for us to play in this game, it's incredible. And he is kind of right in that sense. You don't say incredible season. You don't say that.
I mean, you
could say when you look at the injuries, for us to be playing in this game, it's kind of, I'm proud of that. Because they didn't quit. I don't know what Jason
Kidd... Talk about that. That's important.
I don't know what Jason Kidd did since he left Milwaukee because, those teams hated him and his Nets teams. Yeah. It's pretty clear that he never loses. He didn't lose the locker room in 2023 when that season went down the drain. He didn't lose the locker room this season. They should have probably lost this game by 35 points, and they never did. Now, you're not raising any banners, and I'm not trying to pat them on the ass. But they don't really quit. They might suck and still lose. What is it? You love to talk about how people were asking the Mavs to tank, and you're like, guys, they're just going to lose. They don't need to try to lose. They're going to lose. So that's part of it. But they don't. I even tonight, did you feel they're giving up? They're not giving up on Kidd. We've seen
you want to know
teams
something?
Give up on their coaches, and that just doesn't seem to happen. It's weird.
Can't remember what player podcast I saw this from. But it was a player podcast, former player podcast, that basically said Of course, these guys are going to play their butts off for Jason Kidd. They're terrified of losing their jobs because they all suck. And that just sort of sticks with me.
Yeah, it helps. Like Brandon Williams is playing. He was playing for a contract. Like that helps for sure. But
I just don't know, man.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how to talk about this.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about the game. I just want to say, I know people are mad at me for what I said last podcast, where I wanted it to, I'm hoping the season ends so we can just move on. And I'm still stand by that. If people are mad about it, that's fine too. Like, you're allowed to be mad
I
about
don't
that.
care.
You have, no, I know, but people have options. There are a lot of people that make good Mavs podcasts. If you want to go listen to another one, you should do that because there's good ones. But like, we all need a break. Like everyone does. Fans, I wrote that in the recap. Like, I got into a little Twitter kerfuffle with Jeff Skinwade and Jason Gallagher, and like I went back and reread, like, and it's just like, what is the point? Like, why are we?
You guys are all arguing about something that you ultimately agree about, but you can't really say.
Yeah, right. Like, everyone needs to take a pause. Everyone needs to stop thinking about Mavericks basketball for like 3 weeks. Because everyone is miserable. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. It doesn't matter if you're a fan. Doesn't matter if you're media. Doesn't matter if you're a team employee. Doesn't matter if you're a player. The players don't seem too thrilled either about any of this either, by the way. Having their home court advantage get ruined because of an idiotic trade. Team employees don't seem happy about it either. And they're caught in this, well, we're pissed off, but we can't really say it because we don't want to get fired. And obviously fans and media are pissed off for various, like, everyone's mad and we're all arguing around why we're mad. Some people can say it, some people can't. Like, it's just not worth it. Like, let's just stop thinking about this for a second. Let everyone just chill out. Like, we could keep doing our thing, but like, that's the kind of point where I was just like, man, everyone's just getting, like, everyone's so mad. Like, everyone's so miserable.
No, I mean,
and it just sucks. And I'm just glad that we can maybe take a break because everyone needs a break.
Today's Friday. I spent part of my Wednesday. The guy who goes to Mavs games and has been shouting "Fire Nico," and before that, he spent an entire season shouting "Fire Kid." I think his name's Chris. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. I'm not meaning to shade any one person, but I got into a big kind of kerfuffle, just being like, look. I don't care how Nico Harrison goes. I want him to go. There's no credit. There's no leading a revolution. This is not serious enough. It's not serious enough. It's basketball. It's sports.
Yeah. This is taking up way too much of my day and my brain.
But
yeah,
we have chosen for it to matter to us.
Yep.
So I don't want to disrespect anybody who cares that much, including Chris. I don't mean to. But I think your advice is largely correct, where it's just like everybody needs to take a lap because, look, we're not, like, this is an unfortunate part about this. We're not getting Nico Harrison fired. We're not getting Jason Kidd fired. Do you know what's going to get them fired? The facts, the results. That'll happen eventually. It just will. These guys are fucked. And they know it. They know it. Kidd, Harrison, they're doomed. It's a matter of how long does the doom hang over them? Because they're going to get fired. There's no question of that. It's, do they do it before they do the franchise even more harm?
Right.
That we can't answer.
I'm curious about your opinion. Because I personally, for the last month or so, have felt that Nico is probably not going to get fired until 2026, whether that's midseason or after next season. Because in my head, I felt like if Dumont is dumb enough to approve this trade, he's probably dumb enough to listen to Nico pitch him, hey, give me another year. Injuries ruined it. We'll be healthy. At least give me that time to show you how this will work. And I could totally believe that. But I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to wobble on that again because this loss was so bad. It was on national TV. There was no other game on it. Dumont was there sitting courtside.
Dumont mandated that roundtable interview.
Like,
and Nico, guys, Nico did his, it brought me and Jake from the dumb zone on the same fucking page. I wish I could explain to you guys why I find that significant, because Jake and I have not gotten along in 10 years. And then he had me on his own show to talk about how fucked this is. Like, it's bad. Like, I've been involved professionally in some really funny work situations that were like national news. This is eclipsing.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing like this, guys. We're never going to see this ever again. Right. Ever again. Because the situation, Nico Harrison was not qualified to be GM. Patrick Dumont extended his contract. Nico used, let's just call it office tactics to basically shove Cuban out. And he then exploited a loophole, like essentially a loophole, to force Luka Doncic out. And the bottom line here, guys, and this is like, we just keep talking about this. People are like, there just must be something we don't know. No, Nico keeps telling us. He told us for an hour. He told us for an hour that he didn't like Luka Doncic.
Yeah, not his guy.
Not his guy.
Yep.
It's just like Steph Curry wasn't his guy at Nike. Like, he's going to be remembered for 2 historically bad misgambles. And the best part about this is he genuinely doesn't seem to understand how fucked he is. Like, look at his face. They kept showing him and he just looked like he was smelling his own farts. Like, he was just like,
yeah, I don't know.
Why is this happening? I believe defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. Oh, we didn't fire anybody. Like, he's a putz. And he's never been put in a situation like this. That much I can tell you. I went and read a lot about this guy's professional history. He kept making the right call at the right time, which is why he's this arrogant. He is, like, the arrogance involved in his situation. I've never seen anything like it. We will never, like, it's insane.
I mean, it's like trading. It's like if instead of LeBron leaving voluntarily in 2010 to the Miami Heat, if the Cleveland Cavaliers traded him after they lost, after they lost in the finals to the Spurs in 2007, no one's gonna these guys don't get traded unless they ask for it, and
they don't.
It's I mean, it's literally. I mean, I keep thinking about it. It's literally never happened. I got blinders for other sports, but in the NBA, I mean, it's just.
I'll tell you though, but it's never happened. So. And this is important for you and me, and for those of us at Mavs Moneyball who make content, just making stuff, and it's like we provide, not me. Our site provides an outlet for people who are interested in covering the Dallas Mavericks in some way, shape, or form, including in some Dallas Wings coverage. I want people to have a creative outlet. But none of us get paid. It is all largely a labor of love. And I will tell you, one of the things that I'm just really tired of is I'm really tired of being sad. Your fan brain is dead. But every time something happens with Luka, like today, the ESPN interview with Malika Andrews,
dude,
that was genuinely upsetting. Yeah. It was. And it's another day, another thing. We didn't even get to talk about Adam Silver embarrassing himself on the Pat how do you say his name? McAfee's show, where he just lied. If you're a conspiracy theorist,
it was incredible.
Adam Silver is like, let me pour some kerosene on this, motherfuckers. Yeah. I mean, it's every day. And I am tired of being sad.
It's not going away because Luka plays for the most popular sports franchise in the world for the most part, or at least maybe North America. Not the world, certainly not the world, but you know what I mean.
Bill Alien in the chat says he's not watched the Malika interview yet, and
Luka's going to be on national TV 35 times a game for the rest of our lives, like until he retires. Like you're not gonna get away from it.
And what Luka said today was he was just like, why does Nico keep like I'm paraphrasing here, but he essentially said, like, why does Nico keep talking about me like that? Like Nico Harrison is toxic. Nico, like Luka called him out on national TV today. And so for Nico Harrison to act like he can somehow attract players. Sorry, I sound like a dying goose. Too much Dallas pollen for me recently.
No, it's been awful. It's been terrible.
Raymond DiLorenzo asks, what did Silver lie about? I don't even know how to answer that question properly. Josh, do you want to try?
Yeah, I didn't. I just saw the full. I mean, what did he say? He said, oh my God, I'm trying to pull it up. I know I've got it up. Because I think they were talking about how do you feel about how the season's gone?
Like Dallas did.
He said, I think you saw tremendous competition around the league. This is why says ratings picked up in the second half. I think you saw tremendous competition around the league. Healthy stars, a trade that attracted a lot of attention. A bunch of things happened in the league, generated a lot of interest. What a great trade. A lot of attention. Isn't that wonderful, Kirk? That trade attracted so much attention, and the NBA is profiting off it. That's so great. Adam Silver is proud of the second half ratings because of that trade and all that attention it brought.
Yeah.
And now, just like the Mavericks drafted 2 All-NBA guards in 2018 in the same draft, and now none of them are on the team by the team's own volition. By the way, like the team decided we don't want those 2 anymore.
I know, man.
And now they're not here. It's crazy.
Well, all right. I'm gonna do a secondary show against my better judgment. It's 12:15, but we have some super chats I want to read. Luka fan 77 says, thank you guys for all the shit you guys dealt with. I know it hasn't been fun. Well, community's fun, so we appreciate you, Luka fan 77. My man Cowboy says, I'm curious if the Dallas Mavericks will retire Luka Doncic's jersey. Also, the irony that the Mavericks could bury his name like they did Mark Aguirre's. I actually think that second thing is much more likely. They have been so weird about jersey retirements. It's going to take a whole new thing going on. Like Cuban's unwillingness to do it is one of the many dumb shit things that happened during the Cuban experience. Paul Armstrong says 8 seasons, 7 with Nola, 1 in Dallas, and AD gets to round 2 once. Oh, is that true?
Wait, what was it again?
He says in 8 seasons.
Yeah.
7. Well, he says 7 with New Orleans and 1 in Dallas. That's not right because he's been with the Lakers.
I think he's saying for all non-Lakers seasons. He's only gotten to round 2 once.
Yeah,
as a non-Laker.
Sick burn.
No, he's never been the best player on a team that's gone to the conference finals. I mean, that's the fucking truth. I'm not even trying to be mean to him.
You're right. My friend Daman Rangula says, cheers, fellas. Daman, you're not here anymore. You're a Lakers fan. I hate you. I love you. It's okay. Twan says, Kid and Nico, another day closer to being canned. Nico brought in all these Luka merchants, and they were all exposed. Oh, God, great take. Great job. Big thanks to Kirk and Josh for supporting us heartbroken Mavs fans for life. And then Waylon Jennings gave us $5. So
thank you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna. So give me like a few seconds here to go ahead and post this stuff in the comments there, and you can join the live show. And then we will be right back. But thank you so much, guys, for all of your support. The last year. If you're listening on audio outlets, we'll be back at some point. Like today's, we'll probably be back like Monday or Tuesday.
Time to cover the draft.
That's right. That's right. So Josh and I, thank you so much for hanging out. This has been Kirk Henderson and Josh Bowe. I'm going to play our briefly new weird music. So we'll be right back. And those listening on an audio or on an audio format, I'll post this show sometime Saturday or Sunday. Go Mavs! Hello, Mavs fans. Welcome back to Pod Maverick Presents Group Therapy. I'm Kirk Henderson, joined by a number of people who already want to join our show. Thank goodness for you. You guys are what powers this secondary show. This is Group Therapy Live. I'm just going to kick it immediately to my man, Brian Roby. How you doing, buddy?
I'm feeling sweet relief. This nightmare, for now, is finally over.
Well,
That's how I'm feeling.
Do you want to talk about the game? Do you want to talk about the season?
Yes.
Well, you have takes. You always have takes. Tell me what you're thinking.
The game, look, man, and people are already online doing it. It's fine. I don't want to hear about the 40 points that AD scored in this game. I don't like. If you go and you actually look at that box score, if you watch the actual game, I saw plenty of people tweeting, "Oh, he has 40." I couldn't tell. It looked like he was playing terribly. I saw that multiple times down my timeline.
His shot looked
That is the
good, but
correct
his
reaction.
defense was so bad.
Defense was completely lacking in effort.
Mm-hmm.
He was unable to create advantages for anybody else to take advantage of. That's partly why, other than PJ playing out of position, like PJ looked like complete dog shit today. Lively also was like a 0 on offense. You weren't really getting much out of anyone that wasn't, I don't know, Brandon Williams, Najee, really. Like it was genuinely heartbreaking to see what guys who were on a team that went to a finals last year or were on a team that looked like it was poised to go back to a finals or at least to a Western Conference finals, how they look now. And it's just because, they didn't have that one playmaker that really set the table for everybody. It was kind of embarrassing. It was pretty bad. And if you watch that game and you tell me AD had a good game, I'm telling you, you didn't watch that game, man. He was loafing.
But I'm also not. I'm not killing him.
I'm not killing him, but I'm also not ignoring what I saw. Like he was definitely limping because he was hurt. He either had something new that developed in the game, which can happen sometimes with Anthony Davis, which is why you don't trade Luka Doncic and then kick his back end on the way out, saying we need players that are going to be here and play. Don't take a vacation with us. All right. Like that's why you don't say those things when you trade for Anthony Davis. But no, he went out there and he gutted it out. The 9 games or whatever it was that he managed to play for us this season, he shouldn't have been out there playing really any of them the way that he looked. And I give him credit for going out there and wanting to play anyway. Athletes are insane by nature. It is a part of their trade. So of course he wanted to be out there. It was the responsibility of the team and the medical staff to tell him, you can't play. You are not physically able. And they did not do that.
No, because Nico Harrison is a dummy. He needed to justify his own trade. AD needed to justify fulfilling something that he's not going to be able to live up to that has nothing to do with his abilities. Mm-hmm. He's basically trying to fill, not to be too glib about this, but it's like he's basically trying to fill like the role of an absent parent. Like he can't fill that gap, and nor should we expect him to. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to us.
I don't expect him to. Just as you said, I'm talking like he had 40, and I'm talking about how he had a bad game because everybody around him had a bad game.
Floor.
Yeah, and that was with them forcing their entire offense through him for most of the first half, which is why nobody else was able to get in rhythm, and nobody else other than Clay, who is just like a legendarily resilient shooter who was able to get something going in the second half. Nobody could really get anything going outside of him. Kid thought it was so bad that at one point he threw Spencer out there just to see if it might mix things up when he had given up on Spencer playing in any kind of important game, as evidenced by the last game where he didn't play a minute against Sacramento. So the game was unfortunate, but it was the ending that we needed. It was what people who aren't in Dallas needed. It was the version of this team that people needed to see, to understand why we feel how we do and why we feel just as strongly as we do about this team and the makeup of this team. Yeah, so I don't care what Richard Jefferson and Dave Pash or anybody else has to say about what this team could be or anything like that. You know, they too bad.
I know.
It's team six.
Well, we're going to be talking a lot about the future coming forward, and those future podcasts will hopefully be have a little more bullish. Look, we're looking forward to being excited about things again.
Mm-hmm.
It's not today, but it's going to be soon. because
No.
we're already arguing draft stuff, and I'm looking forward to being excited about that.
Yes.
I don't know how, and I got to figure this out with all you guys who I talk about with regularly. One of the things that makes me really sad is that people, some of the comments that I get is like, where it's like, Kirk, you're just so negative. And I'm just like, I don't want to be. Like, it's not, nobody listens to negativity. Nobody tunes into it unless you're a masochist. Like, it's actually better when the Mavericks are good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's better for all of us. Like, we're all happier. It's also literally better for business.
Forget good when they're fun.
Yes.
When they're interesting.
And
People
so
tune into that.
Yes. And so I'm looking forward to talking about some fun stuff without the context of the ownership, the coaching staff, the general management. So we'll see where we go. We will. We'll see where we go. Brian, you're the man. Thanks for kicking us off. Okay.
Hey, anytime, brother.
All right. Peace. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Be good. All right. I see my man Jason Gallagher down there, and I'm going to let him jump the line just because he probably wants to go to bed. All of you want to go to bed, but every time Jason joins my show, it makes me happy. Jason, how we doing, brother?
Good. You don't have to tell people I'm jumping the line. You could just have
me
on.
No,
they won't know.
Other guys in the line know, and so I need to justify it to them because I value them. Like, there's a dude in the chat named fucking Dirk. I didn't put him up here. I should have.
Dude, shout out Dirk.
Shout out
that
Dirk.
guy.
So he'll be up here soon.
I think.
Jason, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think I've been hearing you. You and I've been texting. I've been listening to this show a little bit. I usually get in trouble when I appear on this show. I wind up saying something stupid because you just bring that out of me. But I just like came here to echo two things that you sort of said, which is one, the folks that are like, geez, Mavs fans, like, give it a rest, or Mavs fans, why are you so mad? Or even certain Mavs fans that want to be happy, who I do not judge, who are optimistic about Brandon Williams or whatever the fuck. And like, shout out them. But like, I'm sorry, like you and I, you might be my oldest Mav friend. We have seen it all. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite things, I have a good buddy. He's a very public Mavs fan, master. He's the man. He and I text so much every day because he basically is trying to tell me that it's ridiculous that I'm out on the Mavs. And his case is actually my favorite case because he's like, he's basically like, the Mavs have been the most embarrassing franchise for a while. That's his case. He's like, they're the corniest franchise in the world. They have it started with the Mavs, man. It started with all of these like horrible things that have come out in the public. He's basically like, the fact that this is the thing that turns you, like, it says more about you than, and I was like, you know what? Checkmate. I'll take it, But I think that the point that I'm like, I just sort of try to come to with him is like, yeah, all of that stuff is really bad. This must be pretty bad. That so many people feel this way. I think that's the part where it's like, do you think that like Mavs fans are just like emailing each other being like, let's all act like idiots? Like, no, we all have a very common feeling. Whenever people have a common, it's like an election. When it doesn't go your way, I can't stand people that are like, half the country's a bunch of idiots. No. Maybe there's something wrong with you. You know what I mean? That's not to get political, but you know what I mean.
No, but it's like you see all these people at the Mavs-Lakers game, and there are so many social media videos of like adults, married adults, children, people openly crying. And
it's crazy.
Some of those videos were like shared in jest and out of mockery. But then the more you see of it, the more you go, we don't know how to talk about this because it's so hurtful that there's not you don't want to like dip into therapy language about something that's supposed to be for fun, but it's like, it's so, I've talked about this, like all this stuff happened around my dad, like getting diagnosed with cancer and dying over the same period. And like, I physically can't disentangle my feelings for those two things.
Sure.
And it's really complicated.
Can't imagine. I had zero tragedies during this time.
My wife has no idea how to deal with me because I'm such an emotional dipshit, like normally. And then there's like this happens, and it's like you see these people crying at the games, and your first instinct, and this is my first instinct, is kind of a cynical person. When I see that stuff, I'm like crying, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I stayed up from midnight until 4 a.m. on February 2nd, which was the same day I found out about my dad, mainly talking to other strangers. I'm strangers. You guys are my friends. But talking to people all night because I just didn't want to deal with this shit alone.
Yeah.
And fandom is one of those weird things because it's like you spend so much time on it. And to people who don't get it, you almost sort of hide it because it's weird.
Yeah, it's so weird. There are people that come at me and they say this, that, or the other because of my job or because of this. And it's like, yeah, like I do some high profile things. That's kind of all the more reason for me to chill the fuck out. Let's be real.
Right. But you should walk away from it, but you can't.
But I'm actually like a huge proponent. And the people that have actually taken the time to talk to me about this, the people that are like, whomever, that I've worked with that have taken the time to talk to me about it, know that like, I actually like really believe that fandom is like an incredible thing. And like none of me or anybody would have a job or anything without this kind of passion from you, from myself, from the people that are mad about this trade. And I think that the thing that just, again, I know that Josh sort of referenced the kerfuffle between Jeff and I, and honestly, like we texted like that entire time, and we're good. It ended with "I love you so much, you're the best. I miss your face," that kind of thing. But like, man, I just hope, like, I can't imagine an entire arena of people doing one thing and looking up at them and saying like, "You guys are all wrong." Mm. I just think that there has to be an observation inward. And I'm not saying any of the Mavs employees, I listen to Follow L on the ticket. Like, I'm not saying any of them are like wrong. Josh pointed out, like, it's a crazy situation. Like, I don't even blame anyone, but like the fans are not wrong. Like, the fans are not wrong. You can't, like, if it was like a section or if it was that one guy, which it had been, like, maybe you can make that case. But when the entire arena is yelling it, and by the way, it was the entire arena. There was nobody. It was people in Mavs jerseys doing it. It was the entire arena. It was people in Kyrie jerseys doing it. The entire arena was doing it. So I just am sort of like, guys, maybe you need to look inward, and maybe you need to like, a part of the protest is to be like, hey, this sucks for you too, right? Let's change this. And so anyways, so I think my first point was just to say that, like, fans being emotional about this, being sad about this, being angry about this is like, I cannot stand people that are judging that to the degree that it has. It's not a coincidence that this is a leading story on ESPN. It's not a coincidence the Mavs can't appear on national television without this trade being discussed the entire time. It's not a coincidence that an entire arena would. I live in Oklahoma. Like, I didn't get the memo that everyone was cheering fire Nico. Like, it's not a coincidence this is happening at medieval times. It's not a coincidence that this is happening all around the United States, that people are looking at this trade saying it's so bad on every level. Mm-hmm. So I think we have the right to be mad. I think that fandom is a beautiful thing. It's something I have a real connection with my whole family. I've met real friends through this thing. You're a prime example of that. And it really frustrates me that someone came in and took a big old boot to it for no reason. Mm-hmm. That's my first point. I've got one more.
Pretty good point.
My other point is that the chant fire Nico, it's kind of like a little bit of a meme now. You have been very vocal about firing Nico. I have been vocal. I went on the DLLS show on Luka's return game, in which I was like, I think the first step is they have to fire Nico. And Stein looked at me and was like, really? And I don't think he was like questioning it. I think he wanted to know my thoughts on it. And I think that, but there have been people that have questioned it and are like, why would you fire him? Guys, like, I really think it's the most obvious first step. I mean, I was sitting here watching the game and I was watching Mavs fans calculate the lottery situation by like a little bit of margin. And the whole time I'm thinking, and I see fans chiming in that are like, why the hell would we trust this guy with a lottery pick? Like, what? Why would you trust this guy with any asset? He doesn't know how to value assets. Like, just full stop. He doesn't know how to do it. So the whole idea of like not firing Nico, I'm kind of like perplexed by that take. Really.
My favorite Stein thing.
Yeah.
This is just me.
Yeah.
And guys, you guys got to understand this. Journalists nowadays fall into two camps just broadly. Yeah. Folks who think it's their job to educate and folks who thinks it's their job to sort of be activists. And you're taught this shit in J school. This is Mark Stein thinks it is his job to inform you. It is not his position to take, it is not his job to take a position. This is according to him, because I've sassed him and pressed him on particular issues. And he's so good at this that he nudges me and makes me feel like an idiot. He was so incensed by what Nico Harrison did with that roundtable in terms of like trying to set the terms, the journalistic terms, that he refused to go. Okay. That's a man of principle. Now, that's not to say anybody who went doesn't have principle. They just decided we're going to keep going and pushing and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. But they have fucked this so bad. It's just a matter of when they figure it out. And the part that makes me sad, me particularly, is, and should be for, people who are listening to this show are diehards. You guys are going to stick with us regardless. Yeah. But when they do fire Nico, we're going to go to a place of apathy. The fan base, like the Mavericks.
It's possible.
I really think
possible, but it's the first. This is what I told. This is what I told Stein on the DLLS thing. Shout out Kevin. I see you. I really like. I don't think it's the solution, but I think it has to be the first step.
It's a healing
step,
man.
Even prior to any sort of like thinking about a lottery pick, it's like it's giving. It's having like the insane rage like kid on your street watch like be your babysitter. Like, it's like, I don't want that. I don't like, great, I have coverage for the kid, but like, why would I want somebody I don't trust to do this? So I think that it's just step one. It's like step one for me being like, because you tweeted earlier where it's like, I'm not like Patrick Dunat's he's not gonna fire himself. So like,
no, we got people like I'm sorry, people just gotta move. Like there's steps in this to what's realistic, and I don't want to tell people how to, but it's just like you got to be realistic.
You got to be realistic, and it's like, as far as I'm concerned, it's Nico. Man, I'm sorry, you did the worst thing in pro basketball history. I think you got to go. You can't even sit in your own home games. That's insane. You got to go. You're the most famous person.
Did you see what happened? Did you see what happened in pregame today?
No.
You didn't see? Grant Afseth tweeted it out where a guy was like yelling, "Fire Nico."
Oh, and they got the warning.
Yeah. And they gave him a warning, and it's like, this isn't hate speech.
Yeah.
Nico, let me speak to you, Nico. Let me speak to you clearly.
Yeah.
Quit being a pussy.
This is why I get in trouble with your show.
You didn't say it. I said it.
No, but
I'm tired of this Kobe system bullshit.
Listen.
I went and reread Christian Clark's article about how he asks people what they had for breakfast, and when he worked with Nike, they talked to each other in SEAL team terms. What else? 7 weenies.
Well,
what
honestly,
dorks! I would beat up all these people. This fight. I am so tired of these dorks. I'm a big person, okay?
I've seen you. But he is just I think given the closed door press conference, like along with the quotes where it's like, I just wish one reporter asked him what he ate for breakfast that morning.
Oh my
That's
God.
like the one thing.
Tim
like,
McMahon, where
Tim
are
Cato,
you?
where are you at, bro? Come on.
Shout all those reporters were amazing. Newsy
Tim
Scruggs?
McMahon, and this is the other. Hold on, the only thing I want to finish is that Nico's got to go. It's like no question. Dumont's not going anywhere. He's literally distracted right now. Like a butterfly flew by, and he's looking at that. He's fine. He's gone. Rick Weltz, I'm a little perplexed by because I'm like, that man is a Hall of Famer, and like people
stop it.
No,
not just call him a Hall of Famer. No one cares. He's a Hall of Fame of business. Who cares about business? He's a L7 weenie himself.
Time out. What opinion did you have of Rick Weltz prior to this?
Nothing. I don't care. I feel like I'm being.
Hold on. Just time out. You had none. The only, like, some people had positive. Nobody had a negative opinion about him. And I'm just sort of like, the people in the basketball space, the people in the basketball space have like literally told me he's like a brilliant guy. He's like responsible for so many things that we love about the NBA. And I'm like, great. Well, this generation is going to be like, who the fuck is that guy? Like, and I'm like, if I were him, I would just get the hell out. What are you staying? You don't live in Dallas. You don't care about Dallas. Like, what are we doing here? So that's my take on that. And then obviously, like I said, Patrick Dumont's not going anywhere. So it's just fans like, let's stop with the like, well, Patrick Dumont also has to go. If you're going to say Nico has to go, Patrick Dumont has. No, I don't. No. Let's get Nico out. He pushed this. We all know it. That's what happened. And he does closed door meetings or whatever the hell.
That was amazing.
He sucks. I mean, he just sucks. Everything he's done thus far, too, just is a bad show of judgment. He sucks. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's all I got.
You're the best. Jason is a EP on some of the biggest projects in NBA super fandom. You are producer with the Steve Nash LeBron James podcast, which is really good, and I hate that it's really good. Do you understand what I mean by that? He's just
I get it.
I do like hearing them both talk basketball. It makes me feel so stupid, but that's why you should listen to the show, because sometimes you're like, guys, I could do that. No, what these guys do, where they operate, they're geniuses, and they break it down, and it's really worth listening. Do you got anything else you want to promote while you're here?
No, that's it. We have some really, really fun, big episodes coming soon. So
good. Playoffs just in time.
I hope people pay attention to it, and to the Mavs fans out there, like whether you're still like cheering for the team, or whether you're taking a break, or whether you are done, but you're still kind of lurking like I am because you just can't help yourself. Shout out you. It's tough. Shout out Kirk. It's been a long fucking few months. So appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate all the, like, I do like sincerely appreciate the Mavs employees who have been put through hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope everybody has a really restful summer. That's like my prayer.
Hags, have a good summer.
Hags. All right.
Be good. Talk soon.
Hey, buddy.
Bye. Coming up next is Zach. Zach, how are we doing, friend? Thanks for waiting.
Oh yeah, of course. It's no problem, Kirk. Man, I just want to know, where do we go from here?
So it's a great question. I think you have kind of two paths to take, maybe three. The first would be if you think they're going to sort of stand pat and just have Nico as the general manager. The thought becomes, how do they rebuild around AD? Do they use the draft pick? Do they trade the draft pick? If they actually, that's one path. And if they trade the draft pick, you sort of have to think they're going to really try to triple down for Kevin Durant, which is a very interesting proposition. The second path is they get rid of Nico Harrison in some way, shape, or form. They hire one of us to be the general manager because Nico's made it seem like anybody can do this job. And then we sort of look ahead to the draft. And the draft becomes a deal where the Mavericks are, I think, 11th or 12th, depending on a coin flip. They might have the same percentage chance for the top 4 picks. And then you go from draft lottery on May 12th and see where they land. And then you go from there. This draft is a very fun one with a lot of maybe one or two kind of star level talents, and then a bunch of really good players. And so I love the draft. It killed me that the Mavericks never cared for several years. So we'll see. And then I think the third round has to be kind of something in between where maybe they don't trade the pick, but they keep Nico. I just don't know. I mean, the Mavericks salary cap sucks. That's like a dirty little secret that we don't want to really talk about. And because no one, like, I don't know, I'm not an accountant and I don't want to be an accountant to follow this team. So what is your preference? You there, Zach? The best audio.
Okay, can you hear me?
There we go. Good to hear you.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't like the hand that we're being dealt if those are the options, but I think the only way Nico gets fired before next season is if the Lakers win the championship games, and maybe that'll force Dumont to kind of, realize Nico doesn't know what he's talking about. And then, yeah, man, this media tour has just been so bad. Brian Windhorst goes on ESPN and says, I'm paraphrasing, but he goes, the Luka trade didn't define the Mavs season. It was the Kyrie injury. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, really? Like, I can just tell they've been briefed, and it's kind of annoying just to keep the Malika Andrews interview.
That hurt.
The Adams. Oh man, the Adam Silver one. I actually started thinking that my conspiracy friends, like you said, were on to something. I'm like, because my friend, when the trade broke, he was like, this has something to do with ratings, and but I'm like, why would Nico give a fuck about ratings to trade? It has nothing to do with it. It has to be something else. And so the conspiracy wasn't.
The conspiracy would have to be like really far reaching. And if this were the 90s without Twitter, I might lean in on it a little more. But I just because it boggles your mind. They're like, okay, there's just no way that Nico could think that AD is better than Luka. And he just does. Like, he very clearly does. Like, he keeps saying it. And there's a lot of people that don't want to hear that. And it's just like, oh, well, he was clearly getting pushed by Patrick Dumont. I want you to stand Nico Harrison and Patrick Dumont side by side. I promise you, Nico Harrison has very little to say about Patrick Dumont. He doesn't consider him in his choices. Nico Harrison is doing exactly what Nico Harrison wants to do.
Yeah, I think he only involves him when he needs to manipulate the decision in his favor, like he did with the trade. Tell him just what he wants or needs to know, because he doesn't know basketball.
No, I mean, you trust the guy you hire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, he didn't hire him, but yeah. He
did resign him to a contract extension. That did happen under Dumont's watch. So this is tough.
Very, very. I'm gonna be very interested to see where we go from here, man. I just wanted to get on here and say a few things, but we're gonna just go through this together, man. But all right, man, I'm gonna hop off here.
Please come back at some point. I'll be hosting more of these during the summer. I love talking to Mavs fans. Thanks so much, Zach. Talk soon.
For sure.
All right, we're just going to go in order. My guy, Sudarshan, is next. But first, I'm going to insert a couple of ads just because that's sort of where we are in the process here. So I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap. Do me a favor and listen to those ads. Welcome back to Pod Mavericks Group Therapy. You are joined by Kirk Henderson and now Sudarshan. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Kirk. Are you like done now? Is it relief?
No, because there'll be another story. There'll be something else. I mean, you have to deal with me and Mavs Moneyball Slack. Like, my brain never really turns off to this.
Oh man, the Monday morning story from Tim McMahon is just going to create another implosion. In some ways I can't wait for it, but in some ways I'm just dreading the depths of stupidity that we're going to have to read about.
Yep. No, that I'm glad you actually mentioned that. I briefly put that out of my brain. Tim McMahon says his big sort of empty the clip Mavericks piece is going to come out and expect a lot. Like, from what I understand in my limited capacity, I just think what you're going to see is a lot of organization that went out of its way to marginalize Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah,
that's going to be real upsetting.
It's if there's anything that Nico has shown over the past week is how little he gives a shit about Dirk. I mean, the only thing that matters to him is Kobe and nothing else. So, yeah. But I mean, to build on a couple of points, which I think you and Josh touched on at the end of the podcast, the amount of glee on Adam Silver's face during the Pat McAfee show or podcast or whatever the crap that is does not dispel the conspiracy theorists from thinking about, I mean, he engineered this entire thing, or he's at least like reveling in the kind of chatter post trade.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love it.
First of all, it's an indictment on how sad Adam Silver is as a league commissioner, that he goes on the Pat McAfee podcast to actually talk about the state of the league pre-playoffs. I mean, David Stern isn't doing shit like that ever.
It's very painful.
I mean, it was sad to watch. And another thing, another thing that I wanted to speak of was, and we've spoken briefly about this on the Slack, is the kind of softness, or I mean, I don't want to say, I don't want to use the other word for it, but how soft the NBA is with regards to fan conduct and how touchy they're being about this entire thing. It pales in comparison to other sports. Like, we've spoken about European football, right? Like I told you about how crazy their chants are during the games, and it's insane the lengths to which they go to and how personal they make certain things during games. Like, so I mean, as an aside, like, I follow Manchester United, right? We've been in like a 10-year malaise of loserishness as a fan base, and the first thing that you hear from opponent fans when you're losing is you're getting sacked in the morning. That's the first thing that's directed towards your manager.
That's right.
And this isn't some 20,000 person crowd. This is 80,000 people who are yelling their hearts out, saying you're getting sacked in the morning.
So great.
And it's hilarious to some. And I really, if you want some entertainment, I urge you to follow this account on Twitter called Troll Football. It's the best. I mean, it's hilarious. But the other thing that, I mean, and that's really relevant in this thing, and I mean, I'm actually thinking of writing something about this, is as a United fan, we collectively hate our owners, who are the Glazer family, who also own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And over the past few years, you've seen a lot of protests against the Glazer ownership, and there is not one home game in Manchester that is played without the fans chanting, "We want the Glazers out." And the kind of malaise that seeps into a fan base, right? When the entire crowd is chanting either for, you know, your ownership to be fired, or your front office to be fired, or the general dissatisfaction towards how the organization is being run, it just seeps into every corner of not only the organization but the on-court play.
Sure.
So
I think we saw that in certain respects.
Yeah. So I mean, I know that Skin and Followell and Coop and Damaris are all, like, you know, doing their best to actually, like, defend the organization in a lot of ways, and in some ways they can't, that they're organization employees. But I mean, Followell in some case also, as a huge European football fan, should be cognizant of the fact that this isn't a small thing that you can just dismiss and tell people to pipe down. This is just going to get worse, and the worse it gets, the more that it's going to affect the team, not just the fan base. I mean, it's going to affect the team, and it's like you pointed out, it's just going to lead to I mean, years and years of apathy.
There's an existential element to it. And one of the things, American culture, sports culture in particular, just leans towards the cynical because everything in our society is transactional. Just happens. It's part of it. It's not a criticism. It's an observation.
Yeah.
And one of the things I don't think Nico understood is he's just like, well, if I traded the guy at the start of a 5-game road trip, people are going to be mad at me, and then I'm going to be home and everything's going to be fine. And instead what they did is they basically behaved like a totalitarian regime at like the end of not understanding that they're about to get deposed. And it's that like the only going to get worse part is true. Because Nico, it's amazing how bad he's been at this.
He's terrible. I mean, I'm sure there are going to be courses written on how not to PR in the future. Based off
that press conference was not supposed to go that way. Like you just know it. Because they started off talking about the fucking arena. It's like nerds. So annoying.
Like who gives a shit about something that is 6 years? Okay, so as an architect and a designer, my dream would be to design a stadium for the Mavericks, right?
Yep.
I mean, but I'm kind of an irrelevant architect in India over there, so that's not going to really happen. But that's a different matter altogether. But I don't give a shit about talking about stadium design that's going to happen in 2031 when my team is imploding after they've traded away the best thing that's happened to the franchise in a decade.
It's really something, buddy.
It's ridiculous. And I know we've harped on this, and I know we've pointed this out multiple times. This trade would not have gone down so badly as it has. I mean, yes, it would have been still as terrible, but it wouldn't have gone down as badly as it has with the fan base if they'd shown some semblance of maturity and said, guys, we understand the pain. We understand how bad you guys feel. But in some cases, Rick Weltz is saying that we'll do our best and all of these kind of stuff and all of this kind of stuff. And they didn't just shit on everything saying that you guys don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. We know better. Luka is ass. AD is the best thing to happen to this team. And you guys need to listen to what we're saying.
That's right.
Fuck you guys. Like you've been in Dallas for like 3 or 4 seasons. We've been following this team for over 2 decades. We know better than you what the Dallas culture is.
So those comments on culture were wild.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well,
anyway,
thanks for waiting. Okay.
Hey, no worries, man. I mean, we have an entire summer of discussing the draft. All for it to inevitably meet its end when Nico trades our first round pick for some shitty move or whatever.
It's going to be so insane. I look forward to being real mad online. All right, we'll talk soon, okay?
Take care, man.
Later. All right, coming up next is Ray. Ray, welcome to the show. Thanks for waiting.
Hey, how you doing? How's it sound?
You sound fantastic. I appreciate you waiting as long as you have. What's going on?
No, that's cool. That's cool. I haven't been on in a while, and just commend you guys. Truly, not your full-time job, not even close to your full-time job,
but this is nice for me. Like, do you know what I used to do before I did this? I talked to my wife until she told me to shut the fuck up. This is so much better.
Yeah, but times like these, like the fact that you guys are pulling through just misery after misery after misery.
Oh, it's misery together. And that's what Nico Harrison doesn't understand. Uh-oh. Lost Ray for a minute. We'll filibuster till Ray comes back. There he is. We lost you.
Oh, there we go. Cool. But yeah, it's sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying it's like we do all this together. That's part of what makes it nice, even if it sucks.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that because that's the part where I get a little bit of fan guilt for myself.
Why?
Because I am in the Jason Gallagher lurking camp since the trade. I have to be completely honest.
But you're here on a Friday night, well, on a Saturday morning at this point. So like you're not lurking that hard. You're just you're taking a couple of weeks off, taking a couple of months off. I actually think that's healthy.
Yeah, but I'm actually in the kind of bitter ex-girlfriend mode. Of like, I'm out. I can't. It's tough because I've been a Mavericks fan since I was 13 years old. So the whole like, oh, you're a Luka boy, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
But after the trade happened and the way it went down, when they won in Boston, do you remember that game?
Which year? This year?
No, this year. After the trade, they win in Boston.
Yes.
Yeah.
That game was wild.
That was the true test where I was like, how am I going to feel? And I felt nothing.
Yeah, don't blame me there.
Yeah, and the word fan, the idea of fandom, and this is the 2 points I want to make. It. Have you ever thought of any scenario quite like this, where it truly tests the idea of fandom, especially when it comes to team fandom versus player fandom?
I mean, I really haven't, because, and I've talked about this, like it's like there's a sense of like imposter syndrome of doing something like this, where it's like, why am I doing this? I'm not a professional. But then it's like, okay, well, I'm not a professional. Maybe I should quit. And so like I think about this a lot. And that was before Luka even got traded.
Yeah.
And then Luka gets traded, and it's like, wait a minute, fuck, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
So yes, I actually do think about those things a lot.
Yeah, I don't think there's been any example in sports history that tests people's idea of that quite like this, because we're used to the other side. We're used to superstars having a moan and a whinge, and the organization being in handcuffs. I don't think I've ever seen it to this level flip the other way around.
Yep.
And it really shines a big spotlight on two main things. And one's Luka related and one's Anthony Davis related.
Okay.
The Luka related one is, if you even a diehard Mavericks fan, or maybe a not from Dallas Mavericks fan like me, what is the limit of our loyalty to a team? And I think for me, it's that is the only way this happens. And I mean, obviously, I've got political reasons with Adelson's being from where I'm from, but I won't get into that. This was, and again, I didn't find out a lot about the Adelson until after the trade, and I found stuff that affected me as from where I'm from.
Right.
And so I wouldn't have even thought twice about it. Who are these people before this trade happens? Regardless, this was the only moment that I was kind of like, I am following a player. And I never thought, I was never that guy. I was a team loyal guy. That's
sure, me too.
Yeah. And now I'm kind of doing this spiteful revenge watch on like, I like the guys. I don't want them to fail. Never been an Anthony Davis fan, but I like the rest of the guys. I don't want them to fail. But unfortunately, if they succeed, Nico succeeds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's going to put it all in our face and say, ha ha, look at me and look at you guys. Petty, I know. Yeah. And
it's so disappointing is what it is. It feels like a waste of time.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate that.
I know. The Anthony Davis part is the really interesting part of it too, as well, which is, and someone was talking about this the other day, and he said Anthony Davis could be the biggest hero in Dallas for this situation.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I can't remember which podcast said this, but I thought it was going along the lines of, oh, Anthony Davis will play great if he plays great, and then we win 2 championships, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He said the opposite. He was going like, Anthony Davis could be our biggest hero if he says, get me out of here. End this. No one wants me here. Or, a limited amount of people want me here. Not like Luka. Why put myself through it? Why put everybody else through it? There's a part of me that goes, that would save a lot of misery.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that.
I'm all over the map about it. I think I need a week to really simmer and then think about what's next and then see if anything actually comes of this. Because like in my heart of hearts, I'm watching the game tonight and they got beat so badly.
Yeah.
And so thoroughly that I have to imagine there's got to be some buyer's remorse
Yeah, and you're seeing Anthony Davis limp for 3 different reasons in one game.
Yeah, and honestly, that's just the player who he is, and a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but it's like he's played the same number of games as Kristaps Porzingis the last 5 years.
Yeah, you remember
Kyrie
that?
Irving has missed a minimum or on average of 22 games a year before he got hurt. Like this team is not built to be the kind of team that Nico Harrison wants them to be.
There's a Kevin Durant comp to this actually that came up in my head yesterday. Do you remember when he mercenaried free agency his way into Golden State? What happened with him? 2 Finals MVPs. They didn't have to lose any big time player for him, right? Yeah. 2 Finals MVPs, 2 championships with the Warriors, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the fallout of him leaving is because he wasn't as loved as Steph Curry was?
Yeah, it was almost too boring. So
it was almost too boring. He was. But that's the that's the other part of fandom that's real interesting in this whole thing. It's even someone like Kevin Durant, who came into this team, they didn't have to lose anybody that was going to make them mad.
Yeah,
1, 2 championships, 2 Finals MVP, and you still have a fan base going, "Hey, we didn't like you as much as Steph, but thanks."
It's a tough deal, man.
Yeah, and with Anthony Davis, it's the complete opposite situation. So it's like how is he going to earn that? It's tough.
Yeah, it's so depressing to think about.
Yeah,
Ray, you got anything else for us?
No, just circle back to the first thing, which is like I'll still tune into you guys and kind of
we'll see
be
now.
In the background, sort of like, hey, respect the fans and sticking through it and stuff like that. But let's hope for a better future. At some point.
Thanks. Ray, thanks so much for waiting, and thanks so much for your comments, okay?
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right, coming up next is Johnny. Johnny, hope you're ready to chat. Johnny, what's going on?
Hey, Kirk, can you hear me?
I can. You sound great. Tell me what you're thinking tonight.
Oh, man. Well, let me tell you something first. I want to give you and Josh your flowers for what y'all done, and you don't know how much I tremendously enjoy your articles on Mavs Moneyball. Everybody, guys, everybody that is a Mavs fan, and I read a lot of different periodicals. I read a lot about basketball and sports, and I swear to God, man, your articles really hit the nail on the head every time. And
what a good job.
Really
I normally sort of downplay positive comments, but our side has really kicked ass this year. You're correct.
I mean, it is. I mean, and I'm not one to, and I really appreciate this forum that you have for people to call in, like kind of a therapy, like you say, group therapy, and you spending time with the fans is awesome. And you doing even the most mundane and ridiculous games where, Spencer Dinwiddie basically, is over 15 or something, and you have to discuss that. And I just, but your articles are absolutely amazing, man. I want to really, and I love your different appearances on other platforms. I saw you on DLLS, and it's great. I just really want to appreciate it. But
thanks, man.
I'm conflicted about Luka because when he played with the Mavs, obviously he was my favorite player.
Sure.
I mean, I wanted him to get as many champions. I wanted to get 1, 2, 3. I wanted to get him so many championships. And now he's with a team that I despise. I hate the Lakers.
It's really hard.
And I used to love Istok Franco because Istok Franco would be everything about Luka, but now he's doing that with the Lakers.
It hurts,
and it's making me. It's really hurting because I used to love reading his articles and reading all the stuff on Twitter about him and about Luka. And now it's like, I can't believe I'm saying I want him to lose, but I want him to do well, but I want the Lakers to lose,
It's such
but I'll tell you,
like it's a paradox. It's like I want Luka to win, but I also want the Lakers to fall into the ocean.
But this is the biggest thing, though, is that Luka could have won 3 championships with the Mavericks. He would never get the publicity that he's getting right now, and hasn't even won a damn thing.
Yeah.
On ESPN every fucking night, having interviews with Malika Andrews, who I despise. I cannot stand her. I cannot stand 1 second of her. And and those people with ESPN, I'm gonna really like it when the TNT guys go over there. I'm gonna see how that works out because. And people are saying that Charles Barkley isn't going to want to stay. He's going to want to quit because of just the crap that goes on. I mean, it's like La Media, La ESPN. LeBron James has such a hold. He has a hold on Adam Silver too. I don't know if you saw. Well, you saw the Pat McAfee, and you cannot. I hate to say this, but I'm not going to say they saved the NBA, but this trade completely just metamorphosed. It just completely did a 180 of where the NBA was going. People weren't giving a shit. Luka wasn't playing. He was injured. Your Mavericks were doing okay, but they were kind of doing half-ass. And all of a sudden, he gets booted from the Mavs onto the Lakers with an already pretty good team, and JJ seeming to figure whatever he's figuring out. And now you have the Lakers and what they're doing. And I mean, that game that they, the first game against OKC, I mean, they blew out OKC. I mean, and then people will say, well, maybe they didn't really have a lot to play for, but you just wonder, man. And I don't know. How far do you think? I mean, I hope to God they can't win a championship. I don't want LeBron. See, my thought is that this is a conspiracy to get Luka because LeBron's going to have 3 more. He's going to have 2 more years, including this year. They're not going to give him another contract. So he's got this year and he's got 2 more years. If they win this year and they do a fucking three-peat, then guess what? He'll have 1 more championship than MJ. And, he could have 10 championships with Luka. And he's still not going to be the greatest because, MJ's the greatest, man. I mean, 6 straight championships, no losses. Matter of fact, they didn't even go to a 7th game in a championship series. Everything was in 6 or under. So I don't know. I just, I'm conflicted because I really like Luka and I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's getting publicity and all these people that were saying how fat he is and he doesn't play defense. And, Brian Windhorst absolutely scathed him after game 3.
Which he wasn't wrong to. He wasn't wrong to.
Well,
I get if you don't like it, but he would Luka did lose us that game. Like he was why we were in it. He was why we lost it. And that's the word. That's kind of the challenging part of Luka Doncic's experience. But it's like you'd still rather have that guy.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, he could be. You know what? I swear, he is so good. He could be 350 pounds, and he could still score 25 getting out of bed. He is that talented. He just knows the game. He's skilled. I'm going to tell you something else. I really wonder if Nico and the upper management, if they saw, because Luka was injured so long during the season, right? He missed so many games. They beat OKC twice without
3 times,
I believe.
3.
3 times. 3 times. You're right. And the way they played these really upper echelon teams and beat these teams without Luka. And then if you look at last year, Luka was great, but Lively and Gafford and PJ Washington was the reason they won the OKC series. I mean, he completely dominated with defense and with shot making. And they're stupid enough to think that, they just took Luka for granted. Heliocentric player, hogs the ball, whatever,
sure.
Shoots and does, and they thought that, these great, and he's probably so egotistical. He thought, my trade, me getting PJ Washington and Gafford is what really did it, and getting Lively, without thinking about, well, dude, those guys don't mean shit without fucking Luka, and you're seeing it now. Because with Luka's making that center for LA, a double digit score, Yep. And it's just, I really wonder if they thought that, well, maybe we don't need him. Look how we're playing. I wonder if they went into it. You just have to wonder about that.
It's a tough one, man. Well, thank you so much for waiting and hanging out.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you do. Keep up the great work. I hope you don't I mean, I would understand if you no longer do this.
Oh, I
because
wouldn't know what to do with myself, man. Every time I think about quitting, I'd be so like, I message people. Like, coming up next is our guy Isaac at Mavs Moneyball, and he can attest to the fact of how annoying I am over the course of the day, being like, "Hey guys, anybody want to write about this?" And so I just like, I wouldn't like, what would I do? Like, text my friends and be like, "Does anyone want to put things into a notes app and send me an email?" Like, come on. All right, Johnny, we'll talk soon. Okay.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Take care. Have a good night.
I'm going to insert some more ads. Please listen to those ads if they're in there. If they're not, life is on. And then I'm going to bring Isaac up, and we will be right back. Welcome, Isaac, to the show. It's Kirk Henderson at Pod Maverick Group Therapy. Isaac, it's late at night, and you're talking to me. Thanks so much. What's going on, buddy?
It is very late. Can you hear me?
I can. You sound good.
Perfect. Yeah, season's finally over. I texted my friend as soon as the final buzzer sounded that war is over and we can all start to heal. I'm going to play that song after I get off this stream. But
very good. Very good.
The only thing I care about right now is 1.8, and that is the percentage chance we have to land the number 1 overall pick. That's all I care about at this point. I don't think Nico's getting fired this offseason. I want it to happen, but I don't think they're going to admit that they were wrong that soon. So let's just get a number 1 overall draft pick and pray that Nico is fired in the next 5 years before he trades him for a 36-year-old Joel Embiid.
You know what I should do, Isaac? We have a couple of guys on the staff of Mavs Moneyball that really like math and gambling. Maybe I should ask, because I don't make anyone do anything. I should request someone and tell me what the chances are that the Mavericks would only have fallen in the draft up until this point in their history. Because that's what's happened. They've either stayed in the same spot or they've fallen. So what are the statistical chances of that? Now, I start thinking about that math and I want to barf, which is why it's not for me. So maybe, but that like realistically, guys, why not us? Why not now?
Why not us? We need it. We deserve it. The hell we've gone through in the last 76 days, like, we deserve it.
Mm-hmm. That's 100% where I am. It's 100% where I am. So what else are you thinking, buddy?
I'm ready to talk about the Wings.
Yeah. You're going to be doing some Wings coverage.
I will be. Season credential, ready to get down there and get talking.
How do we say her last name? Because I've not heard it enough out loud.
It's Beckers. It's Beckers.
Okay, good.
People want to say Beckers. It's Beckers. The U is basically silent.
Guys, Paige Beckers.
Paige Beckers
is one of the nastiest basketball players to come into the league. She's immediately going to make a difference. And if you just like basketball, I really recommend you tune in and watch, because she makes people look silly and she does it with a smile.
If you think Caitlin Clark was phenomenal, just wait and see what Paige Beckers is going to do with this fan base. Like Josh said, he said it a couple times on Twitter. She's got an opportunity to really cultivate almost a cult-like following with these fans that don't know what to do with the Mavericks, but they still like basketball.
Yep.
And there's going to be games at UTA, College Park Center, for like $20. You can get in. There's no bad seats in a 7,000-seat arena, and you will get to see one of the best women's basketball prospects in recent history, really.
It's going to be really fun.
Their last year at UTA, I'm going to be making the drive out to Dallas in 2026.
Yeah, there are going to be some fun games at American Airlines Center. My wife already looked into some of those, and they're she was like, "They're this much. Do we want to pay this?" And my answer was no, but I probably will. So
yeah, Beckers versus Clark. We get it. I think 3 times. I think we played the Fever 3 times. It might be 4.
That's fun, man.
So,
well, anybody in this? Is there anything else Mavericks wise that you really got to get off your chest? Because Isaac actually texted me and it's like, "What's the live show link? I need to join."
Wow, way to expose me for not checking your Twitter.
Well, that's fine. Jason Gallagher does the same shit. He never looks at this. He's like, what is it?
I know we've all talked about the big man article. I know there's been a lot of conspiracies flown tonight, but it's just, at the end of the day, you wrote about it a couple of days ago. I wrote about it right after the trade. This was Nico Harrison's magnum opus moment. He thought that he was going to be this, like, amazing guru Moneyball type scenario where he was going to make the trade that nobody could understand, and it wasn't that. That's all it was. It was a GM thinking he knew better than the system.
Yeah,
and it
which
sucks.
is hard to do.
It's where we are.
Yeah, it's very depressing.
But go Mavs. I will unfortunately root for this team until I die.
That's
This
right.
has taught me that there's nothing that will take me from this team. So I will root for the
Really good point.
players and root for the front office to just sink into the ocean.
That's right. Isaac, talk soon. Everybody look for Isaac's work at Mavs Moneyball. Talk soon, buddy.
Sure.
Have a good one.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Coming up next, my man Matt, who is on the East Coast, and he's been waiting too long to talk. What's going on, Matt?
What's up, Kurt? 2:20 in the morning. Got to talk basketball. Nothing better.
You're a hero, is what you are. Thanks for staying up late. What's going on?
No problem. I just got a couple of things real quick. One basketball and then like 2 quick interview points from the Luka interview today. If they're really going to do this, I hate to say this because I still watch all the Mavs games and I love PJ and Lively, but if you're playing AD and with this style, you got to get rid of Lively and PJ and get whatever assets you can to build around. Like, they just don't fit at all. It's like crazy to watch. Like,
he wants to play 4, and then the only time they started being effective is when AD played 5. It's like, what are we doing?
And Lively especially. Like, Lively is not a dunk. You do not put him at the dunker spot. Like, he's probably the best. I told my buddy tonight, he's probably the best small ball center in the league, if that makes sense. But as soon as you put another big in there, he's done because that's what makes him good. Like, it's just crazy. But I'm like, if you're going to do this, but to be fair, I don't really want to talk basketball. I just had to bring that up, like, if you're going to. But
sure.
One thing from the interview was, of all the things that made me mad over the last couple of days, one of the things that pissed me off more than anything, in the Luka interview with Malika today, he said that Nico didn't even call him the night of the trade. Like, I don't know if your mother said
Nico called him the night of the trade, and then Luka didn't answer. So, which is fine.
If that happened, then that makes me feel better. But it almost was like, knowing him, I don't know if he did, because I don't know if you, growing up, my mom would be like, live with your choices, like, stand up via, like I don't know. I just, if he didn't, I was going to ask you if you really believe that he didn't call him or not. But that was.
I mean, I believe he tried to call him. I do. I just did. I think that Nico's business manager got to him first, and he was like, "Fuck this! I'm not talking to anybody."
I figured. I was asking. That was one question I had, and then of all the things from that stupid Nico like town hall meeting, I know this sounds funny. The thing that pissed me off more than anything was the CEO talking about the stadium like 2 seconds into the thing. Like, are these people just clueless? Like, are they just deranged? Like, 2 seconds into the interview, you're saying you haven't covered the. Are you fucking kidding me?
So let's at least. So how that town hall happened was Patrick Dumont told him to in like mid-March, and then he put it off for a month. And then the clock ran out, and he had to do it before the season ended. And then he brought along Rick Weltz as cover. And Rick Weltz has been trying to help him in certain PR forms, and it's just embarrassing.
I think it made it worse, though. Like, I'm not trying to be – I knew Nico was going to say that crap. Like, I mean, it's not great, but you just know it. Like, he's deranged. But for them to say that the stadium, like, are you – like, that was just insane to me. Like, I'm just, what the hell? And then last thing, I can't believe I'm ever doing this in my life, but can you really blame Adam Silver? Like, I watched the Pat McAfee interview. Like, I don't think there's a conspiracy theory. Like, I mean, I think he's like, oh my God, the team is this stupid to trade Luka to the fucking Lakers. Like, I'm not trying to be like, I think he's dancing. Like, I'm not trying to be, I just think that Nico's the biggest moron that ever existed. And it's going to be like, it's just, I just still can't believe it. I'm sorry. I'm like bringing it up. So keep bringing it up over and over again. It's just think about it. And you're like, what the fuck are they doing?
Sure,
like, and it totally changed the league. Like, the league is, I love basketball. NBA is what I watch. I have people talking to me. I've been talking 2 years talking about basketball now again. Like, it totally saved the league. Like, it's not fair to you guys, but you know.
That's where we are.
Do you think that he'll get fired if they make a run?
The longer the Lakers go, the worse this has to be. That's my opinion. So I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah. So one last thing before I go, I just wanted to thank you for everything. Over the last year, I still listen to your show all the time. I wanted to tell you a quick 10-second story. I don't know if you remember this. Last year during the playoff run, you told me to go to that Clippers game.
Yes, you went.
Yeah, me and my sister were talking about it today, packing up for college. So just want to thank you again for giving me that advice. I still listen to you every day, and You're the man, Kurt. So have a good
I say
night.
this and I never go to games myself. I'm always like, everyone go to games. And I'm like, I don't want to go. It's hard.
Hey, that cross country, this cross country fight was worth it. So have a good day, Kurt.
You too, buddy. Talk soon. Okay, Pesh, you've been waiting forever. Tell me what's happening.
Hey, Kirk, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm a long-time listener, but first-time caller. I've been listening to you for probably at least 6 years.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for calling in. What are you thinking tonight?
Well, I've been thinking about calling in. This is my first time, but I really think that I'm really upset about the trade. First of all, that was like a horrible trade, and kind of what you mentioned, like you were going through a lot with your personal situation. I was actually going through the same thing. Like me and my dad were like watching the games. Luka really like brought us together at the end of his life, and then he passed away. And he meant a lot to me. And I'm really upset about the trade, but obviously I understand. Whatever ended up having to happen, but I don't think Nico really understands like what Luka really meant to the community. I think a lot of people had a lot of things going on. COVID was going on. A lot of people went through a lot of stuff during that time, and I think Luka meant a lot to.
Well, it's so confusing because he's so clearly formed a very close attachment to Kobe Bryant. Whether that attachment was two ways, I'll never know. But he had that attachment, so you'd think he would understand, and he just very clearly doesn't. And it's very sad and frustrating.
It really is. But, a few other thoughts, and I'm like all over the spectrum here, but I think what Luka going to the Lakers, I think that's actually going to be the best thing for him in his long-term career because, I think Nico really emphasized like guys that are going to go out in the court and like go all out, right? Like, and I think Luka he was so great that he could just create and like be amazing regardless. But there was not that like motivation for him to like really push himself. And now he's going to really have that chip on his shoulder. And I think him being paired with LeBron, I actually think we'll probably end up seeing a better version of Luka long term than if he had stayed in Dallas. I know that's a crazy take to take, but I do think that's true. And then last crazy take I'm gonna have is like Nico. I hate fucking Nico, right? If I like ever see him, I don't know. But at the same time, before the Luka trade, he has made some pretty good decisions comparatively to like our previous seasons, like our end of the bench. If you really think about it, like Kessler Edwards, Brandon Williams, Kai Jones. These are like great pickups. Like remember our end of benches back in the day? They were like starting for us before, and now he has like loaded the roster. It's just sad that he traded Luka because like Luka with this roster, I feel like we really had a lot of potential to like win it this year.
They did. He built a team for Luka and then traded Luka.
That's honestly why I also think there may even a slight part of me has some percentage thinking that there's some conspiracy going on. Like it literally makes zero sense. He literally built this roster for Luka and then traded him. Like there has to be something more to this story. But that's just my take on things.
Well, we're all loud. Well, I'm grateful you finally joined the show. All right. I hope you come back.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
And you guys are doing a great job.
Appreciate it. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Thanks.
All right. We got Brian and then we got Zach. Brian, what's going on, man?
Oh, what's going on, Kirk? Can you hear me?
I can. You sound good.
Okay, good. A little sauced. I had a few drinks, but it's the end of the season. That's how we come to. I just want to say thank you for you and Josh and the whole staff for every year coming out with stories and stuff to read. I've been a long-time listener. I don't come up on here often. I just listen to the podcast, but listening to y'all, I came on like the green room once, like a while back.
Yeah.
But I'm just like a closeted listener. I listen to y'all before I go to work and stuff like that in the mornings. But
grateful we're part of your routine.
It's been a really long year, and I'm glad that it's come to an end. Honestly, I'm like 29 years old, but like the very first year I started watching the Mavs is like Nash's last year in 04. One of my best friends, his dad was like a big Mavs fan, so like I would always go over to his house and we'd be watching the Mavs games, and that's like how I fell in love with the team and stuff. And it's really sad that our team is the laughing stock of the NBA now. And
it's horrible. We have pity. I don't want pity.
I don't understand how we got to this point. It's really frustrating.
It's the worst.
But I don't know where we go from here. I don't know.
We'll fire him, and then we can figure out what's next. But if they don't fire him, then we can figure out that too.
There's a lot of people that were like, can maybe say like bad stuff about Luka's like game stuff, but whenever I've been watching AD the past like few like his games he's played, it's like half the time he's like people were like ragging on Luka about like jogging back up a court, but like AD had like 2 nasty like cherry picks tonight where he's just like jogs halfway back to back court.
Right, he doesn't get past half court for very different reasons. Usually because he's on the ground.
I don't want to hear any Mavs person that's like a credentialed person talk about or even say anything about Luka's how the team was complaining about his conditioning. It like after what I've seen AD do, like it kind of like I'm off the AD.
I'm not looking forward to hearing. And
I try to like really hop on it because it's just my love for the Mavs. Like try to believe in the team, but be mad at the front office, but be like believe in the team. But like I don't know. Tonight was really bad. That's all I can say. Tonight was really bad.
Well, I'm grateful that you hung out to talk with us. Okay.
Hey, I saw you were on super late, so I was drinking some drinks, playing some games, and I was like, I gotta come on here, maybe say something.
Right.
It's the end of the season, but have a good night, Kirk.
You too, man. Talk soon. Okay, coming up last is Zach. Zach's been waiting forever. Zach, you're going to close this out. What's going on?
Hey, Kirk. Yeah, also on the East Coast. Appreciate.
Sorry.
No, it's I couldn't sleep. Last time I was on here was the night of the Luka trade.
Ah, yes.
Which was literally the first time ever in my life I straight up did not sleep. Like it was literally I've had nights before, like where you only sleep like an hour or 2 hours. I literally did not sleep. I was at because I'm in business school in New York. I was at literally my friend's wedding, my business school friend's wedding, like in Midtown Manhattan. That night I was like,
vibe.
Yeah. So I will forever be linked. And I'm just sitting in bed right now. This is on my wall. That's a Dirk Nowitzki autographed jersey that I go to bed looking at every night. I like, just to be totally honest with you, like I've tried really hard to just like stop caring about this team the last not out of any like desire to not be a fan, but just I just like it's so disrespectful like what happened and everything. I thought about you earlier tonight when McMahon, because I've been waiting for this McMahon article to drop. And I'm like, McMahon will probably release it right after the game. And he's like, I'll release the article Monday morning. I think about all your tweets where you'll just be like, I'm trying really hard to move on from this, but something new comes out every day. And, I bought Luka Lakers shirts just because I like being passionate about this stuff. It's fun to be passionate.
My wife bought my son a Luka jersey without my knowledge for the Lakers. And so he's walking around the house in a Lakers Luka jersey, and he's like 9. And so I don't want to like berate him, but I also do want to berate him where I'm like, have some pride. And it's just, I get it. You want to follow the guy, and it's hard not to.
And I guess like a question I have for you is like, Brian's 29. Brian was just on. I'm 27. I vaguely remember the Mavs '06 finals. Like I
Hey,
barely
your age.
remember it. Yeah. I barely remember. I remember like my dad. I'm the biggest Mavs fan in my family, but my dad was like a casual Mavs fan. So like I remember seeing it on the TV, but I was more into Pokemon and GameCube and like Mario Party then. And then it was '06, '07 when I really started paying attention to the team. Coincidentally, was Dirk's MVP year, and I remember like staying up at night watching the Warriors beat us.
Ugh.
And,
Horrible feeling.
And so if you just think about like what my history of the Mavs has been, I know you had to suffer through the '90s, but like before that, like leading up to that, like I have no memory of the Nash Mavs. I have a sister who's 4 years older. Steve Nash is her favorite player because she got to see Nash on the Mavs. But it's like '06, '07 crushing, and then '07, '08, losing to the Hornets, and then Avery Johnson gets fired, and then Carlisle comes in, and we make it past the first round once, and then lose to the Nuggets the year, like in the '08, '09 season or '09, '10.
That was the tough one. That was the year Dirk got, or was that in '09 and '10 or '09, '10, where Dirk got the thing about his scammer girlfriend?
Yeah. It was one of those. So if I recall correctly, I think it was Carlisle's first year, and Carlisle's first year was '08, '09.
Mm-hmm.
So
that makes sense.
Because I've only seen the Mavs make it out of the first round.
It doesn't happen that much. It's really only happened like 6 times in the past 25 years.
And I remember, I go off to college, and I go to college in the Bay Area starting in 2016, and I have to live around a bunch, literally the KD Warriors. I remember, and I'm just ranting here, cut me off whenever, but I remember my freshman year in February being so excited seeing that the Mavs traded for Nerlens Noel, at the deadline, and being like, oh, this is finally one of the pieces, and this is 2016, 2017. So this is pre-Dennis Smith Jr. This is the season that got us Dennis Smith Jr. And it was fun, rooting for the shitty team that hopefully I drove to Oracle to watch my sophomore year, to watch the Mavs play the KD Warriors. I brought my Mavs 2011 championship towel, and I remember I was jawing with Warriors fans, and then we get Luka, and I was like,
it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different level of awesome. But very quickly.
But that's what I felt so validated for. Yeah, fuck yeah, I didn't abandon this team. This team has tortured me more than anything. Now is the time to you reap the rewards as a fan. I'm like, this is going to be the best player of my lifetime. I'm going to enjoy these next 10, 15 years. To have that ripped away, not only ripped away, but the manner in which and the level of betrayal, I don't really have it. It's ingrained in me that I root for the Mavs, but I don't I truly say I don't really want to. I really, really, really don't want to.
Well, there's gonna have to be some acknowledgement from the franchise that they fucked up at some part. Dumont's not going to go. He's going to be part of the team. There's going to have to be some acknowledgement from him that a person he employed fucked up, and he's going to that's going to be the first real step. I don't know if that'll be enough, because the likelihood is they're just going to be terrible for the rest of our lives. Not to be too sassy about it. I mean, maybe not terrible, but it's just striving for the playoffs is the goal for a lot of franchises, and we were championship level.
I'm so glad I didn't, when the Mavs made the finals, I bought a ticket to game 4 last year. And when they went down 0-3, I was going to sell the ticket. I was at a summer internship in Oregon. And I was like, I don't want to fly home for it. And I went anyway. I was like, why not? I'll have a good time. And it was an awesome game, game 4. But in no way did I think that's the last time I saw Luka play. Like that was my last time watching Luka. So I think it's just
well, it's very painful. And if you're feeling, bothered, it's like, I don't know. I talked about this with Jason Gallagher earlier in the show. There's an element of this where it feels very stupid to be this attached to something, but it's also not at all. Like how we choose to spend our leisure time, and it should matter. It should matter. And unfortunately, what Nico Harrison did was look at you and look at us and say, no, it doesn't matter. You are pointless. And that hurts.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, it doesn't matter in a lot of like my life needs to go on. Like I need to, so I'll let you off the hook here. I know you're tired.
I'm all right. Thanks, man.
I could go on. I just,
Well, come back, because here's the thing. Over the summer, I'll be holding these shows, and like during the summer, sometimes it really becomes a like, let's remember some guys, where it's like I plan to do some shows where it's just like, you know what, I want to talk about Josh Howard for a series of, and and maybe you'll see it, and maybe you'll want to come on and talk about the things you remember. Okay,
I want to talk about Pops Mensah Bonsu.
Oh my God, absolute legend.
And oh, what's his name? Brandon Bass. I remember I loved Brandon Bass.
The mid-range from the baseline. Bass was sick.
Brandon Bass. I remember being super hyped or wanting to be hyped about Ricky Lato, because he was like 19 years old, and I was like, I mean, this is how committed I've been. Like, I know, like, like Justin Anderson and I've just put up, and for me, it was like living in the Bay Area, seeing like what the Warriors fans got to experience.
Right.
And I loved my team. I frankly loved the Mavs more than the average person loved the Warriors, because they were just on the bandwagon. Like people couldn't like speak to the Warriors the way I could speak to the Mavs, and the Warriors are really good. So anyway, thank you for, for doing, all these shows. I do feel for you and the Mavs Moneyball team. Like, I know you guys are going to keep going, but it's not fair what happened. I appreciate you guys. It just hurts. I don't think I'm ever gonna. I really don't think I'm ever gonna get over it. Like I'm young. This is like one of the most traumatic things that's ever happened in my life, and that means I've lived a very good life. If this is one of those things.
But but this is I really don't want people to minimize this. I really don't. Like, I had to explain it to my then 8-year-old son, and it's like, that's one of the worst things I've had to do. Like, it was horrible because it makes sense.
I'm in New York, and it's these East Coast people, and I've like made a lot of friends from New York, and one of my friends is a Jets fan. He's like, dude, the Jets have been awful forever. And I'm like, it's not just that the Mavs aren't good now. It's like, what happened? I was like, imagine if the Jets had Patrick Mahomes
and then just sent him away.
And they did. Okay, so the Chiefs just lost in the Super Bowl. Imagine if they traded Mahomes for, ironically, Dak and a first-round pick.
Yep.
The
worst. The worst. All right, man.
So,
thanks so much for hanging out late, okay?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Kirk.
We'll talk. Have a good one.
Sounds good.
Guys, great times. Good times. Noodle salad. Sorry, I don't know why I randomly think about the movie As Good as It Gets every now and again. Luka Don Thick, that's quite the comment. Not going to post that on the screen, but I'm glad that I can satisfy. This has been Kirk Henderson with Group Therapy and Pod Maverick. Everyone be good. We will talk to you guys soon. And I would say go Mavs, but stop Mavs. Bye, guys.